pride, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games. Yeah, I know that I found somebody else to love me one day. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. No, you did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say goodbye.
Yeah, my life is lovely now, I'm focused on me. You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you frowning, see you looking down and out, coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it, you so easily influenced. All the times you told me beat it, now you gotta face the music. I'm saying
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games. Yeah, I know that I found somebody else to love me one day. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. No, you did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say goodbye.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, when you hit your teens, life ain't really what it seems. Try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
Hi everyone, My name is Mark Jeschke, and I'm the Oral History Coordinator here at the National Public Housing Museum. And on behalf of the rest of the museum staff, we'd like to thank you so much for spending a little time with us to listen to this next installment of our oral history audio listening series, Out of the Archives. Since 2017, the museum has been collecting oral histories from current and former public housing residents in order to create a repository that is designed not only as a space to learn about the long and varied history of public housing from across the country, but to be a direct source of knowledge to inform housing policies and inspire future generations from stories of resilience and community. This episode, entitled Taking Care of Us, Stories of Community Care in Public Housing, which was curated by our summer interns from Roosevelt University, looks at different ways in which residents take care of their friends and family. You hear of a family vacation that was made possible by a special gift from a friend, a Sunday meal program that encouraged children and families to spend time together by the river, and more. The storytellers you will hear from include Dominica Abbot of the Jane Addams Homes, Phron Freeman of ABLA, JonTia Pegues, also of ABLA, and Kimberly Wellington of the Lathrop Homes. We'd also like to thank Seth Engel at Palette Sound for engineering the episode, as well as the current and former members of the museum's Oral History Corps that recorded these stories, Francesco De Salvatore and Ashley Jefferson. So, without further ado, here's episode 6 of Out of the Archives, Taking Care of Us. Hope you enjoy it. On behalf of the National Public Housing Museum, we thank you for tuning into our oral history audio listening series, Out of the Archives. In each episode, we will share a diverse range of stories told by public housing residents from our oral history archive. Each episode features a different theme that responds to our mission: to preserve, promote, and propel the right of all people to a place where they can live and prosper, a place to call home. Stories make up the backbone of any culture. They tell us who we are and where we are from. They create empathy and understanding, and they allow us an opportunity to share our experiences and learn from the words of others. The stories in our archive lift up the voices of an oftentimes marginalized community and create a space for important conversations to happen. In this episode, entitled Taking Care of Us, Stories of Community Care in Public Housing, our summer interns from Roosevelt University made selections from their favorite parts of the museum's oral history collection, which collectively discussed the ways our communities shape us. The intern team, including Skye Darke, Victoria Limon, River Toomer, and James Wilson, worked to continue to develop the museum's oral history archive for future public access and began to coordinate a white paper policy report for the Chicago Housing Authority, which will be created over the 2021 school year. The storytellers in this episode include Dominica Abbot of the Jane Addams Homes, Phron Freeman of ABLA, JonTia Pegues, also of ABLA, and Kimberly Wellington of the Lathrop Homes. The stories span from 1939 to the present day.
Dominica Abbot. My grandmother lived with us, and I adored my grandmother. She was very responsible. She helped with everything. She could take care of anything. She never got angry. I don't remember my grandmother ever disciplining me or even talking about discipline or anything like that. We did things together. We would go and have, every Saturday, we would go to the dime store and have hot dogs and sit at the counter and have a hot dog and a Coke, and we both would do that. She worked her whole life. She worked, I think, since she was a girl, since she was about 14. And she was the oldest in her family, in a large family, so she was used to taking care of everybody. And so she took care of us, and she took care of my mother. In fact, almost made my mother, it's what, she never grew up. My grandmother was a maid, and when she was younger, she was a seamstress. And then she got a job at the Stevens Hotel, and then she went across the street to the Blackstone, and then it became the Conrad Hilton, and yeah. But she did the hotel thing, and she did suites. And one of her people in her suites that she was a regular for was Nate Gross, and he had a column in the newspapers, and he would go to the Empire Room and interview celebrities from out of town. So he was always interviewing people. But my grandmother was able to get like Jack Benny, who she loved comedy, she loved Jack Benny, so she got a Jack Benny autograph, and she got other autographs through Nate Gross, and he would write about her from time to time in his column. He would say Jenny said this or Jenny said that, and when we graduated, I graduated grade school, and my sister graduated high school, and my grandmother had saved up money, and she was going to take the two of us to Florida, to Miami Beach, for our graduation present. And Nate Gross gave her his luggage to take, because we didn't have luggage. And so this was the first time any of us had been on an airplane, and that was a big thing. And then to have this, and it was leather luggage, and he had it covered with canvas so that it wouldn't scratch the leather. And I just always remembered that we had Nate Gross's luggage. Be careful.
Phron Freeman, they filmed a movie in that area with Robin Givens some years ago. I'm not sure what year it was, but it was based in Baltimore. But they came to the Jane Addams and filmed. And when they were filming the movie, my grandma was in the window, and you could see her in the window as they was filming the movie. So if you ever find out what the movie is, and you watch the movie and you look in the little 3-story apartment buildings, and you see somebody looking out the window, that's my grandma. So they caught her, and now she's in the movie.
My name is JonTia Pegues. My mom would boil water on the stove, bring it up the stairs, because, even though we were in a row house, we had 2 levels. Bring it up the stairs, which is dangerous, for us to bathe. I remember specifically one time doing my homework by candlelight, because they had cut off our lights. We couldn't control that. My mom, we didn't pay a light bill or anything. So they had, I guess, I don't know, to save on electricity or something, but they had cut off our electricity. And these things would happen periodically. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It was just whoever was in charge would do that. I guess, I don't know, to save on resources or something. But I remember sitting in the bathroom doing my homework by candlelight. So I was glad to be getting out of that situation. My mom did everything she could, and it was like, no matter how much, we were very, very clean. That's just how we were raised. That's how my mom was raised. She would have us in there washing the walls. I'm like, we live in the projects. Why are we washing the walls? But no matter how clean we were, living in the row houses, you're going to be connected to some type of dirt and something like, so we'd have problems with rodents. We'd have problems with roaches. And it's just like, what can we do? So it was difficult, and it was kind of embarrassing. Just because one day we had a little party for one of my favorite teachers in 3rd grade. She was leaving, and I was in charge of bringing some napkins, and I brought some napkins, and a roach came out of the napkins. Nobody saw it. I saw it though, and I was just devastated, and it was like, this isn't even my fault. We clean our house. We clean ourselves. Like, but people are gonna just automatically think that we're dirty. And one other time, before I even got my own bed, because I used to share a bed with my mom, but we were at a really good church that was a community and helped us grow in so many ways. My mom ended up getting me my first savings account when I was 5 years old because of this church, and I ended up getting a bed from them. They gave me a bed, they gave my brother a bed. But before that, I used to share a bed with my mom, and I remember one day waking up and there was a mouse crawling up her curtain. And I will never forget that. And it, like I said, it was no matter how clean we were, it's nothing we could really do because it was still going to be, we were still going to have those issues living in row houses, being connected to maybe some neighbors who weren't so clean, or even if they were, there's in those areas, like, that's just what's there.
Kimberly Wellington. Every Sunday, I remember they would have the truck come out. They would have like sandwiches and chips and stuff. What they have for the kids, like dinners, whatever. They switched it up at times, and they would come out there, and I would send the kids out there, and the kids go running down the block. We getting this free food, and it was nice for the kids but then they also looked out for the community, because I don't think they were from over there, but they came out to the community to, just to feed the residents, even if whether we had food or not. They just came out every Sunday. The community got used to it, and we all came out, and they supported the community. Community came out and for their cause, or why they was doing it, and everybody was just grateful for it.
Once again, the NPHM thanks you for listening to this episode of Out of the Archives. This series is supported by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the Illinois Arts Council Agency, the Kresge Foundation, and the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events. This episode was engineered by Seth Engel at Palette Sound. We'd like to give one last huge thanks to our storytellers, Dominica Abbot of the Jane Addams Homes, Phron Freeman of ABLA, JonTia Pegues of ABLA, and Kimberly Wellington of the Lathrop Homes, as well as the members of the museum's Oral History Corps who helped to gather these stories, including Francesco De Salvatore and Ashley Jefferson. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more stories with you next month. Once again, the NPHM thanks you for listening to this episode of Out of the Archives. We'd like to give one last huge thanks to our storytellers, Dominica Abbot of the Jane Addams Homes, Phron Freeman of ABLA, JonTia Pegues, also of ABLA, and Kimberly Wellington of the Lathrop Homes. Be sure to like and subscribe to this page to stay up to date with all of our programming and events. Speaking of events, I've got Lauren Miranda here from Studio Brazen, who's working on a project called At Home. They'll be opening at the museum site at 1322 West Taylor Street in Chicago on October 7th. She's here to talk a little bit about that project. So Lauren, please take it away.
Thanks, Mark. At Home is a projection installation which acts as an ephemeral monument to the everyday lives and stories of public housing residents. Responding to the movement surrounding the removal of Confederate monuments, we want to monumentalize and elevate the stories of public housing residents. Home can mean many things to many people. It's the place where you rest your head, the table where you eat family meals. It's the place where we have difficult conversations and joyous celebrations. These memories are the ordinary, everyday activities that make up life at home. The projections will begin in Chicago at the last remaining building of the Jane Addams Homes and future home of the National Public Housing Museum. Stories are being collected and added to the At Home collection, and future versions of the monument with different stories will travel all over the United States at sites of significance to those who live or have lived in public housing. The pilot monument will be on view October 7th through 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. at 1322 West Taylor Street. On October 8th from 7 to 8 p.m., we invite you to join us on YouTube for an interactive virtual conversation with myself, along with the historians and storytellers who contributed, and to learn how public housing residents can get involved. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lauren. So, as she mentioned, be sure to like and subscribe to this page to stay up to date with all of the programming, including this virtual conversation that's going to be happening on October 8th. In addition, we encourage you to click the links below and to read along and listen to all the past episodes of Out of the Archives. The next installment of this series will air on October 29th here on YouTube. Lastly, be sure to tune into Lumpen Radio every second Friday at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to hear previous episodes of this program. We look forward to sharing more stories with you soon. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you around.